There you go. Can you guys hear me now? That was a weird little glitch that happened. That happened one other time on another live stream. It seems to say that you can see the audio. I can see the audio levels here peaking now, so you guys should be able to hear me. Can you hear me? There you go. All the messages are coming in now. Oh, hi Jake. Good to see you again too. I'm looking very red here on the screen. I don't know if that's my eyes or if that's just how I look. Do you guys notice that? I look a lot more red. Oh, there, that looks a bit better. Maybe it's the lighting or something. Rohan, people using the Captain Eric thing. I'm doing better. For those of you that don't know, I got really sick a couple of weeks ago. So sick, in fact, that everything had to stop. Basically, not just my videos on YouTube and the work that I do, but my whole life had to stop. I could not leave the house. In fact, for the last 2.5 weeks, I've just been staying inside. For a while, I couldn't even... It's like I couldn't even look at my phone screen or my computer screen. And on top of that, my voice had gone. Like, my voice has gone before, but it completely went this time. It's like my voice sounded like it was like being dunked in water and then pulled out. It kept going up and down, and I was like, I can't do a voiceover like this. So literally everything had to stop. So yeah, it is annoying because there's a lot of work that I wanted to get done, but I have, for the sake of my health, I had to basically just put a pause on everything. Not just professional, but also personal. And that's why the live streams also had to, you know, kind of like take a pause for the last couple of weeks. In fact, I even wanted to not do the live stream today because I'm still not feeling 100%. But I thought, you know what, let's try and give it a go. If anything happens, I'll stop the stream early, but I thought let's at least try to give it a go here. Because the streams, I can be more laid back. I don't have to be as on point like I do with my other videos, so I thought let's at least give it a try and see if I can get back to talking to you guys. So, yeah, just to let you guys know, basically, I did not get this checked or tested, but I'm pretty certain this is what I had. I had the flu, my eczema sparked up, and I also had COVID, all at once. All just seemed to, like, come and hit me at one, like, all in one point, which I was genuinely surprised by. The reason I think I have COVID, I didn't get it checked, but the reason I think I had it is because I was having symptoms that I have only had before when I've had COVID. So, hi George Phillips, just talking about what kind of illness I had when I was away for the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's like I was having these weird dreams and nightmares, but not just in the typical way. Nightmares in a way where you feel like you buy into your delusions, and you wake up and you feel so stressed. It's like the stuff that happened in my dream, I have to go and deal with it. But then you have to tell yourself, no, that's not even your problem. That's just something that you dreamt about. And then, you know, you have the thing where you feel like you're sweating. I feel like I did not even want to get out of bed. I did not want to eat all day. There's certain stuff that falls under the flu, but then there's some other symptoms I was basically feeling that felt like it just came straight out of my COVID experience. So, yeah, that's basically what went down. So I'm feeling better now. But I'm still not 100%, so I'm still taking it easy, so... Yeah, so, how's things been with you guys? I'm just reading some of your comments. You guys are so nice to me. You guys are saying, hope you feel better. Big Bash is saying, Eric, your personal health is something that you should always prioritize. Very true, and that's why I did. Cosmic says, damn, this sounds hella rough. No, you'll get through it, though. Yeah, I am mostly through it, but my voice still gets... I don't know if you can hear it right now, but it still gets tired quickly, so I still can't do voiceovers yet. In fact, before I did get the cold full on, my voice was already starting to go. And what I did was I recorded a couple segments, small segments, from my Avatar The Last Airbender Versus video. I recorded the segment about Aang and the segment about Katara. I think I recorded the segment of Sokka as well. And what I did I could basically hear when I was listening back to my voice in the edit. I was like, my voice is going. So I thought, okay, I'll only record that. Once I get better, then I'll record the rest. So when you see the video, you're gonna hear those couple segments where I do sound a little bit, a little bit rough. Masked Hoodie says, you might have changed your name because I don't remember that. It says, hey Eric, sorry to hear you're not doing that good. I'm sorry, I won't be on it for long, but here's a donation. Oh, that's really appreciated, that is. Let's quickly just write that down. New Zealand. That's $1. Let's see. $1.69 from Masked Hoodie, and he didn't even ask a question, so it was just a donation. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate that. That was also another thing. Your guys' donations always really do help, and not doing it for the last couple of weeks did take a hit to the channel a bit, but like I said, I want to make sure that when I do live streams for you guys, I'm not doing it just for the sake of doing it. I wanted to make sure that there was enjoyment for you guys, and there would have not been enjoyment for me, and there would not have been any enjoyment for you guys hearing me sick and doing a live stream, trust me. Let's see. Source Fear says, welcome back, Eric. Here's to healthy recovery, my friend. Yeah, here's hoping. I really hope so. I want to get back to making videos for you guys and stuff. Rohan says, I had a dream about a superhero show crossover with The Boys, Spider-Man, Invincible, and the Justice League. That is one hell of a crossover. And Master Hoodie, again, thank you very much for the donation. And Movie King, just, as I say that, just did a donation. A $5 donation. Thank you very much, Movie King. He says, hey Eric, glad that you're feeling better. Also, Invincible episodes 5 and 6 are out, and they are really good. Do you plan to do Let's Watch on those? I do plan to do Let's Watch on those on my Patreon. But like I said, I was sick, so I couldn't even look at my screen. Now I can look at screens, but not for too long. And I want to enjoy the episode, but when you're sick, sometimes you just can't enjoy it. So I want to do a proper Let's Watch for you guys. But is 5 and 6 already out? Like 2 of them. Wow, I thought that only 1 was out at this point. I hear they're really good. I hear they're really good. Excuse me, I'm sorry guys, I'm still sick. I hear they're really good, but man, did that big break in between really piss me off. That's one of the worst release schedules, I think it actually is the worst release schedule I have ever seen in my life. Really, it was atrocious. So yeah, Saeed says, I don't like where Season 2 is going. That's interesting. Season 1 definitely had... the first half of Season 2 definitely had its ups and downs, for sure. But the final episode was really good, and here's hoping, I hope they continue it, and the quality is maintained throughout. Charleston says he likes it so far. Syed said it was worse than Season 1. What's the release schedule like, says Big Bash? Well, what they did is that Season 2 consists of 8 episodes, and what they did is in October or November last year they released the first half of Season 2, but they didn't drop it all on day one. They did it like weekly, so you got 1 episode a week. Then what the show's creator said, and Manola, thank you very much for the $2 donation. Again, you donated but didn't ask a question, so thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate the donations. Yes, Big Bash, I have seen Whiplash years ago. Really good movie. What was I saying? Yeah, so basically what happened was that they released the first 4 episodes, and the creator of the show says that we're going to take a break after the 4th episode, because you guys are going to need it, because episode 4 is so heavy. And to me, that sounded strange. I was like, a week is fine. Why do we have to wait a couple of months, or God knows how long, until the next second half of Season 2? And it turns out, in my opinion, I don't know what they were doing. I think they'd really just had their own release schedule they wanted to spread out. But the final episode was not that big that you needed a several-month break. But yeah, they basically gave us a break all the way up until March, this month, to say, okay, now we're going to give you the next 4 episodes. But rather than drop them all on day 1, after that, like, how many month break that they gave us, a 3-4 month break, they decided to say, yeah, we're going to give you those weekly, which to me was an insult. I was like, if you're going to make us wait this long, you might as well drop all final 4 episodes on day 1. But they didn't, and I thought that was an insult. So if it wasn't for my Let's Watch, I would have waited for the 4 episodes to come out and then watched them all at once. But yeah, I'm going to have to start watching them weekly with you guys to get those videos out. Okay. You're Tearing Me Apart says, I watched Castlevania Season 3 while I had COVID. I did not enjoy it very much. Yeah, that's the shame. When you think that when you're sick, you can just sit down and watch movies, play video games, but it's not like that. You just feel like staying in bed, doing nothing, which is really a shame. Sento, we were just talking about Invincible and its release schedule for Season 2, which I did not like. Okay, so, like I said, guys, I am still under the weather, so you have to bear with me and forgive me if I'm not as on point as I usually am. But yeah, let's get this started. So, the first story we're going to talk about is something I kind of expected to happen, and that is the Batman Part 2 has been delayed. So, yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? I mean, to be honest, I saw it coming. I think I've said it to you guys on live streams. I knew it was going to be delayed because it just felt like Matt Reeves takes his time to make his movies, and I knew he was going to delay it for one reason or another. And it turns out the reason he's delayed it is because he hasn't finished the script yet. So props to him for not just rushing the production and saying, let's start shooting stuff even though the script is not done. But yeah, we have to wait a whole year. And I think the reason why is because they want to keep that October release date. Originally, the release date was going to be in October 2025. But now they've pushed it to October 2026. So yeah, that's a real shame, that is, because I was actually really looking forward to seeing this, as you could all imagine. So, yeah, disappointing, but hopefully we'll get a really good movie out of it. The movie will benefit. And on the plus side, we have got a new The Penguin trailer. And the trailer for The Penguin, I actually thought, I didn't really like the trailer, but I do really like what I've seen. Of this, when you read between the lines, look at the clips, I really do like what I've seen from it. I haven't done a trailer reaction yet of The Penguin, because again, like I said, I've been sick. But this trailer reaction was actually good that I watched the trailer first, because my thoughts on the trailer, when I saw it the first time, I didn't really have any. So I had to let it sit, and I had to watch the trailer again, and then I have a lot more thoughts on it. So I will, when I get better, try to talk about the trailer on my Patreon. I will have already seen the trailer, but that's a good thing in this case, because I have a lot more to say about it now that I've reflected on it. Because the trailer in of itself was not that good, I think. But the show does look very promising. So, yeah. Now, guys, I forgot to say this, but when I do these stories, just so I stay focused, I'm going to glance at the chat, at the super chat. Sorry, at the live chat. But I'm not going to answer any questions. If you want your questions answered, that's why you got to do a super chat, or you got to do a Streamlabs chat, which I've pinned in the live chat. If you do that, it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. I'll stop and I'll answer your questions. So yeah, just thought I'd let you know about that as we go forward with the other questions that I cover on the stream, or the other stories that I cover on the stream. And let's see. So yeah, what did you guys think of the Batman being delayed a whole year? Yeah, Batman's Gamer, there's not a script right now. Well, there is a script, but it's not been finished yet. Matt Reeves is still writing it, so yeah. Hey, good morning, G Gamer. Rohan, no, I've not seen the new teaser on the Penguin Show on Patreon. Not yet, at least. So, yeah. Fraser says, hi Eric, sorry I'm late. Will you watch Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? I haven't even seen Dune 2, because like I said, I've been sick for the last few weeks, and I'm still not recovered, so I'll try to watch Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, but we'll have to see. If I'm still sick for too long, and then the time has come and gone, I don't know, we'll see what I do. Charleston says, the Batman Part 2, I can wait for patiently. I'm just hoping we get Beyond the Spider-Verse as soon as they can make it. Yeah. The Beyond the Spider-Verse will take a while, so we'll have to wait and see. Jake says his payment method isn't working for some reason. That's okay. You could try. You could try it again. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Try Streamlabs though. If the super chat doesn't work, because like I said, they are very reliable and it comes through to me instantly rather than by the end of the month or stuff. But yeah, it's okay. You can try. Let's see. Rohan says, I don't mind it being delayed. I hope the movie is good. Me too. I really hope so as well. Hey Eric, I saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and there is an MCU-like joke in there. It is in the final act, so that is your warning. Oh, really? Well, thanks for the warning, Selena. I appreciate that. That is... Wow, that does not sound good. Cosmic says, I 100% recommend Dune Part 2. Hot take, I think it stands toe-to-toe with Empire Strikes Back and Two Towers. Huh, that's interesting. That does sound like a very interesting take. Personally, my new favourite movie of all time, No Pitchforks. No, I've heard nothing but great things from that movie. It makes me feel disappointed that I was not able to watch it. But yeah, that's something that you just can't predict. You're having colds and illnesses like this. Let's see. Okay, so that's basically the story for the Batman. Let's see. George Phillips says, I'm not that fussed about the Batman 2, to be honest. The first one's good, but I've only seen it once, and I don't want to watch it tomorrow. I've seen the first movie quite a few times. I really am ready to see more of this universe, personally. So yeah, we will get James Gunn's Superman on the next year, though. So first we were going to get Superman and a Batman movie the same year. Now we'll get them 1 year apart, which still sounds pretty cool. So yeah. Okay. Don't worry, Ian Rai, that's okay. Let's see. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Acolyte. Now, the Acolyte... Let's just quickly sort this out. Now, the Acolyte is interesting. I actually said this show was not going to be made. And that's because a lot of the inside sources I heard from at Lucasfilm, who are providing other sources with information... Hi, Fireboy, great to see you again. Nanomator, great to see you too. The people that were providing inside information at Lucasfilm were basically talking about how the Acolyte was something that during COVID, Kathleen Kennedy snuck by the Disney and Lucasfilm people without letting them know. And they were really annoyed about it. And then they heard that there was a Leslie Headland who was supposed to be helming the show, and she turned out to be Harvey Weinstein's assistant. So this kind of thing made a lot of people scratch their heads. Why is there this Star Wars show all of a sudden? And why is it being made by this person? This person that clearly must have known what was going on when the whole Weinstein scandal was going on. So a lot of people were saying that, inside sources these were saying, this show is not happening. Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland, you know, these two, they were trying to make it happen, and it just wasn't. Basically, they wanted to get Disney to fund them, like, was it millions of dollars to make this? And Disney were like, no, we're not going to. We're just hoping that it just quietly disappears and people forget about it. Which they have done with other movies. It's not the first time Hollywood have done that. So what they were trying to do then was come up with a pitch. So Kathleen Kennedy basically paid, this is what the inside sources said, $100,000 of her own money just so Leslie Headland could film a pitch. And she went to some sort of, like, was it in Disneyland or something? There was a little Star Wars, like, Galactic section or something, and they went there to basically say, look, we're filming the show, even though it was just part of their amusement park stuff. It was just part of the Disney parks. It was done just for publicity, to show the world that it's being filmed, and hopefully to put pressure on Disney to say, see, we told the whole world and the media outlets are reporting on it. We've told them that we're filming The Acolyte, so now you gotta fund us. And Disney was still like, no, we're not going to. So the story is, from the inside sources, that Leslie Headland went elsewhere to get funding because they weren't getting it from Disney. And the people she got it from, and inside sources don't like talking about this because it's quite, like, she went to basically a very dark place to get the funding for this, from what I've heard from the inside sources. So take it with a grain of salt. It might be true, it might not be. But basically, it came to that was basically, the people that she went to ultimately are like, they want to return on their investment. We've paid for it, we want to see results. So Disney now were in a situation where they were like, okay, we need to release something and not just, we can't just hide this under the rug. Leslie Headland, though, which was very telling, was several months ago, it was said that she was helming a different show, being a showrunner on a different show. And people are pointing that out, see? They were saying, see? This is not something that a showrunner of a Star Wars show would be doing. Being a showrunner for a different show? That sounds like something that would happen if a show was not happening, or if a show was in trouble, or if there was something going on. So, yeah, it looks like what they're doing is this is going to be the last thing Kathleen Kennedy tries to push in before she gets forced out. Because right now what they've done is they've announced a bunch of stuff. They've announced a bunch of stuff where Kathleen Kennedy is going to get a bunch of awards, and then she's going to just quietly leave the company. That's basically the studio giving the people they want to fire a golden parachute. So they're not embarrassed in public, but they're basically being told you're going to be let go. So that's what Kathleen Kennedy is going through right now, and this is the one thing she managed to squeeze through before she's kicked out. So this show has got so many dislikes from people, and of course the Kathleen Kennedy crew are going to say, oh, it's just sexist people or bigoted people, like they've always been doing since The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker and so on and so forth. Really, it's that people are just, they're aware of this. There's been a lot of behind-the-scenes drama with regards to this show, and they know it's from Kathleen Kennedy, and they want her out. So that's why there's a bunch of dislikes on the trailer. And I'd say, good. I hope the actors and actresses are not going to be, talked ill about. They don't deserve that. But the creators of the show, the showrunners, that's where you say to people, and Disney, where you say to them, we don't want this. And yeah, they've misused the Star Wars license. So what are they going to expect at this point? They're not going to expect roses and streamers at this point. They're going to expect people to be pissed off when they keep playing games like this. So yeah, I have no faith in this show. The final lightsaber shot did look cool. I think it did tell me that I think Disney need to use the lightsabers more, because I feel like we've not gotten enough of them. But I have no faith in this. It's from Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland. I have zero faith that this will be anything worthwhile. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm not even going to bother watching it. As they say, there's a saying that goes around where it's from narcissists. They say, you can love me, you can hate me, but don't ever forget about me. So if you crap talk them, they'll try to act like the victims. But if you just don't talk about them at all, they cannot stand that. So this is the last time you'll hear me talk about the Acolyte. But the reason I said the show was not going to happen is because originally the show was not going to happen. Disney did not want to fund them until, if the inside rumors are true from the inside sources, that Leslie Headland went to get funding from somewhere nefarious, and now they just have to release something because of the people that she got the money from. So yeah, that's why this show is being forced out now at this point. So I don't know, Disney might have thrown money at it now because they're thinking we have to release something. But there was also a rumor from inside sources that they went to Jon Favreau and asked him if he's got any advice. And he saw the little bit they shot and he just walked right away. Like, he was like, yeah, I can't do anything with this. So I think it's a Disney problem, this show, at this point. Charlton says, as someone who enjoys the sequels, even I will admit if Kathleen Kennedy should just leave. Yeah, a lot of people agree with that. Review says, hi Eric, sorry I'm late. How are you doing today? Don't worry about it. I did the live stream at a different time because I've not been feeling well. But it's okay, you're here now. The GM Gamer says, wait, did YouTube turn off the dislikes? They turned off the dislikes a long time ago. They let you do dislikes, but they don't let you see the number of dislikes. Nanomator says, honestly, it grinds my gears that people that are running the company are refusing to listen to their fans and the audience to see what was wrong. They should if they want to make a good project. I agree. But Hollywood are just... They got nothing up there, a lot of these executives. They keep making the wrong decisions. So, yeah. I'm doing okay, Fireboy. I haven't recovered fully yet. Yen Rai says Dave Filoni should be the one handling a show with this much character, like the Jedi's, considering his experience with the Clone Wars. I would say, yeah. Hopefully he will do more of that going forward. At least I hope so. Selena says that was stupid. Yep. Batman's Gamer, that was dumb. Yep. Fireboy, I'm not doing that great. I was talked about it at the beginning of the stream. I'm still not doing well. I haven't recovered yet, but I thought I'll give the live stream a go. Yeah, Big Bash, companies are actually stupid. There are certain smart ones, but they're becoming very, very niche as time goes on. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? Oh, thanks, Yanrai. Wish you a quick and well recovery. Thanks, I hope so too. City Ember says something very interesting. Disney hasn't done a Star Wars movie in theaters since 2019, I believe. That is true. Star Wars was left in a very bad place after Disney released those movies. And that's why they still haven't gone to theaters yet. So we'll wait and see what happens with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Charlton says, have you watched Andor? I did watch the first episode and I found it boring. I meant to watch more, but I just couldn't sit through more. I haven't gotten through it since. In fact, a lot of the political dialogue they do is dialogue that I think the Clone Wars did better. It's a lot of the same political dialogue, really. And the Clone Wars, I think, did it so much better than what Acolyte did. Acolyte just made the political stuff feel boring, even though I usually love the political stuff in the Dave Filoni Star Wars related things. So yeah. This show will flop. Just watch and see. Yeah, unless people hate watch it, in which case they'll just drive views to it, so I hope they don't do that. So yeah, any last thoughts on this before we move on to the next story? George Phillips says, I'll give it a chance, but they better not waste a good concept, and I want Kathleen Kennedy, or however you spell her name, away from Star Wars. Yeah, I want her out from Star Wars. Well, everyone wants her out at this point. You know, except for the people that... you know, support Kathleen Kennedy and her complete ruining of the franchise for the sake of pushing agendas and politics forward. Yen Rai says, the Tales of Jedi handle the political side better than a full-blown 30-plus series. Yeah. Again, that was because it was down to Dave Filoni. He did it better. And then you have Rohan saying he's not a fan of Star Wars. That's okay as well. Lenny says, Eric, you don't have to, but would you consider doing a binge watch of My Hero Academia? It's an amazing anime. It depends how many episodes there are, but no, I wouldn't be able to move away from my current videos. That being said, like I said, if you want to commission videos from me, head on over to my Patreon, and you can see options as to what videos you can commission from me, and then I would possibly watch it and review it for you. So, yeah, like I said, commission videos are a thing on my channel now, so if you want to request any videos from me, want me to make them, just head on over to Patreon, and I'll put you right on the top of the list and get to making it. Let's see. Nanomator says, like you said, if the people that made the Clone Wars would have done a much better job with Obi-Wan Kenobi, although, where's that comment gone? Did you just retract that, Nanomator? I think you just retracted it. Yeah. Okay, let's read this quickly. City Ember says, Disney need to restructure their streaming services. It is just Marvel and Star Wars. What about your other series that you abandoned, like Pirates of the Caribbean or Tron? Yeah, they are trying to make more Tron. I think they're trying to make a Tron movie, so we'll see what comes of that. The G-Gamer says, I'll admit I like the concept. The creators of the show, Kathleen Kennedy, is what makes me have no faith, although I will say the trailer looked fine. The trailer was a bit weirdly edited to me, I thought. Review says, what's your score for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? I think I gave it a 2 out of 10. Was it a 2? It was on my Let's Watch show on Patreon. It's been up there for a while now, so I can tell you guys. But I went through my thoughts on the movie as I was watching it up there, so you can head on over there and check it out. Alright. Let's move on to the next story. I'll try, Saeed, but we'll see. I always like doing it in the evening. I'm only doing it early because I'm not feeling well. And the later I do it right now, while I've got a cold, for some reason, in evenings or at nights, your colds always get worse. So yeah. Abhinav says, "Hi Eric, how are you? We missed you, man. I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than I was before. Before I was really bad, but my cold is getting better, but it's still not recovered yet. But yes, great to see you drop by. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see all of you on the live stream. Some of you are not here, which is a shame. Hopefully I'll see you on the next stream." Oh, there's an animator's question. Like you said, the people that made the Clone Wars should have done a better job with Kenobi. Well, the Clone Wars people, they would have done a better job, but they didn't make the Kenobi show, unfortunately. Although I also believe Dave Filoni would have done a better job at directing Kenobi. I agree, too, because he wrote for a lot of Obi-Wan and Anakin in the Clone Wars as well. So, yeah, he would have done great. A $2 donation from Batman's Gamer. Like I said, these donations really help, so if you can keep them coming, that would be great. But Batman's Gamer says, "Any plans for Aquaman versus Aquaman Lost Kingdom?" And the Lost Kingdom. I'll think about it, but not at the moment. Right now I've got other videos to work on, so we'll see. But it really depends on what the conversation is like. If it's a relevant conversation where people are talking about it, then yes, I'll cover it. If not, I want to try and find something that's more, that a lot of people are looking for. Because I still want to grow the channel. But like I said, if you want to commission videos like that, you can on Patreon. So if you head over to Patreon and you want to request a video like that from me, I'll put it on the top of the list for you. If you end up doing that. Or if anyone ends up doing that. Let's see. Oh well, got a super chat from Jake. It says, "Got it." I think by got it you mean that you've got it working. I think you mean. So that's good that you got it working. $2.79 from. Oh, let's write that down again. $2.79 from Jake. Thank you very much, Jake. I appreciate the donations. However big, however small, I always appreciate it. It's interesting. Now on the super chats, you can actually see a thumbs up next to it. So you guys can thumb it up, which is interesting. I wonder if Jake, when Jake gives the big sums, I wonder how many thumbs up those would have gotten in the past. If the thumbs up feature was there. Okay. Cole says, "Hey Eric, just joined." Oh, that's great. I think you've changed your picture. Nothing is worse than The Last Jedi except Madam Web, says Cosmic Studios. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next story. And like I said, any super chats or any Streamlabs chats, that's where I'll stop the story and I'll answer your questions if you've got any of those, as always. The only reason I'm saying it now is because I usually always say it at the beginning of the stream, and it kind of bothers me that I didn't because, like I said, I'm sick. So I didn't say it in the order that I normally would. But yeah. Oh, there we go. Another one from Manola, who's attached a question to it. It says, "Eric, have you heard of the game Stellar Blade?" I actually have, you know. Let me quickly look it up. Because I can't remember it, but I know I have heard of it. Let's quickly look. Yeah, I think the graphics for this looked really good when I was, I saw it. Was it in an ad or something, or in a video that I briefly saw? The graphics looked really good. Seems to have no problem making it slightly sexualized too, which a lot of the games now try to stop, except some types where they keep them. So, yeah, I can see why that's a big game for certain people. But yeah, it looks pretty good. No, I did not watch the movie Noah reviews. I haven't. All right, so time to move on to the next story. Let's get this set up. Scream 7 is back on track, it says. Now, I'm discussing this because you guys know what my thoughts are. I talked about when the actresses were left Scream 7, the previous actresses. Melissa Barrera was fired because of her non-controversial thoughts, but Hollywood basically don't like when you support. They like it when you support minorities, like in Ukraine. Like, well, they're not minorities, but they like it when you support people in Ukraine, but for the same thing. But all of a sudden, when it comes to Palestine, where the exact same thing is happening, all of a sudden, no, it's offensive to describe that, which is ridiculous. And a lot of actors have spoken up about it now. Not enough, but a lot have. And Melissa Barrera was one of them. But she was very diplomatic about it. She was talking about both sides being, trying to help on both sides. And they fired her for it. You could tell they weren't thinking when they did that decision because she's the main character of the franchise. But they must have thought to themselves, we have Jenna Ortega, so we could do something with that. But then Jenna Ortega, who supports the exact same cause, she basically says, yeah, I'm leaving. Like, she just quit because of it. And then Skydance, or whatever the hell they call themselves, they found themselves in a big shit pickle because they realized, crap, we've lost our two main actresses. And then there was a couple other actors that also left. The friends of their characters, they also left. And, like, after the fact, and they said, wow, we didn't, if we knew this was happening, we would have left sooner. I think the girl that plays Randy's, was it niece? She says, yeah, I would have left sooner if she found this out. Well, I'm surprised I didn't post this quicker. But she goes, yeah, I'm leaving too. So, yeah, they kind of screwed themselves, they did. Spyglass. So, what's happened is they were trying, even the director left, and they were trying to basically get a script going and stuff, but it wasn't really working out, and they wanted to get Neve Campbell back, but she wanted to get paid more money, and they were not willing to do that before, so they didn't bring her back for the 6th movie. But now, it's interesting, because now they're in a situation where she has all the cards. She could say, well, I can come back, but you got to pay me more money. And they must have paid her more money. They must have. Because she has ended up coming back, and they've also bought the writer of the first Scream, and I think he also wrote Scream 2 and 4. They brought him in to direct it, but if I remember correctly, he did not write it, which is interesting that he didn't do that. So, yeah, any other day, this would have been like a really cool thing to me. I would have been like, yeah, this is the kind of Scream movie I would want to see. Especially if Dewey was in it, but which he isn't because they killed him off in a stupid way. But yeah, normally this would be a Scream movie that I would want to see, but because of the morality of the choices that Spyglass made, I don't feel right watching this movie, and I don't want to support them. So this is not a movie that I'll watch, and I don't even think I'll review it either. This is a movie that I just straight out don't want to support because of what they've done, and I hope it does flop because of that as well. So yeah, let's see. Before we get back to that, let's quickly just talk about this super chat that Jake has left, which, let's see. Jake, it looks like you're talking about what we're going to talk about next, but I'll mention it. Jake says, yeah, anyways, I was sad to hear the news of the Dragonball creator passing. Rest in peace. And thank you for creating one of the greatest animated action series. Anyways, the movie Up, just rewatched it recently, still good. Yeah, the problem with the movie Up is that first 5-10 minutes is the best part of the entire movie. And the rest of the movie is good, but not anywhere near as good as that part, which was just worthy of, like, it's like that could have been the movie all by itself. It was so good. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Jake. I really appreciate that. Now, Neve Campbell, she posted her script on Instagram, and she showed that her name is on it. The script apparently seems to be written, and they're going to go forward with this. And yeah, I don't think Neve Campbell, in the grand scheme of things, should have done this because it's not going to reflect well on her or anyone that decides to make a movie with the studio after what they've just done. They've kind of made, it's like the studio doesn't realize it, but they've kind of just made a Scream a toxic brand when it wasn't before, but they just turned it into that. So yeah, it's going to be definitely something that a lot of people are going to not take lightly, and I am a big Scream fan. I told you, the Scream 1 is like my favorite horror movie. So the fact that even I'm saying I'm not going to support the movie says a lot. And I think this movie is not going to do well. I think there's going to be big drama surrounding it. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this, that they're going forward with this and that Neve Campbell is in it? I think it's in poor taste to go through with something like this, especially considering what's going on. I mean, if it was the other way around, Hollywood would have done everything they could to make it sound like it's a horrible crime or anything. You know, what happened. So, yeah, here they're trying to act like, oh no, it's a good thing that they're making another one. It's all great now. Let's see. Reviews, I will cover the Penguin trailer when I get better on my Patreon, like I always do. All my trailer reactions are always there. And I'll try to cover the Beetlejuice trailer on my Patreon too when I get better. I'll just release a bunch of trailer reactions on my Patreon very quickly. I will. So Ember says, I never saw a single Scream movie. Sorry. It's alright. But the first movie, if you watch anyone, watch that first one. That's my favourite horror movie. It's a whodunit, and I think the best in its genre. But yeah. Yes, I have heard of Fairly Odd Parents. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Scream story. And now, it's time to move on to another sad story, I'd say. Now, Dragon Ball. The creator has passed away. I wanted to talk about this on one of my previous streams, but like I said, I was under the weather. Arathorn, it's not Jenna being busy. That was a lie. That was what Hollywood always does. They try to put cover stories out there. So she wasn't busy. That's bullshit. Don't buy into that. Nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense from the studio. What are the chances that the very next day she quits and makes it public is right after her co-star had got fired for stuff that Jenna Ortega has posted in and believes in, for a cause that Jenna Ortega has supported. It's ridiculous. It's a lie. Don't believe that. Studios always come up with lies, creative differences, this and that. Nonsense. Anyway. So, the creator behind Dragon Ball, his name was, and I hope I don't mess this up, Akira Toriyama. And he was the creator of Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball, unfortunately, is something that I always wanted to watch when I was a kid. But back then, I just didn't have the channel for it. So I wasn't able to watch Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, which was something I really wanted to watch. And it is sad, and I was never able to catch up on it. So unfortunately, this show was something that just passed by me. I was never able to... There's so many episodes now, so I felt like I was not able to just go and watch them, unfortunately. Big Bash, I saw that. What Sweet Baby Inc. said. The people that did the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, you know, that basically contributed to screwing over the male characters in that, and Batman and all that stuff, they basically did not do a rest in peace for him. They did not do any tribute. They just insulted him. And they said it takes range to do what he did, and they meant it as in a mocking way, and accused him of being a racist. They are just disgusting. It just goes to show that they are the problem with those games, like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and anything they have their name attached to. They are pathetic. And the fact that they said that about someone who had passed away, they spoke ill of someone who passed away, and they're saying, no, we're here to be better for diverse groups and everything. It's like, what a load of bull. So yeah, I'm boycotting anything they're a part of. I'm not playing the next Spider-Man game when it comes out because of their involvement. So yeah. Anyway, basically he made this show, and it's one of the first shows that really took anime, which at the time was a very niche thing, and it made it a lot more mainstream, because a lot of people would not watch anime. They would watch like American animated shows, but it's because of him. He's one of the biggest reasons why anime started to take off, and it was because of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So it's really a credit to him that anime is what it is to this day, and anime is just blown up now. A lot of people watch stuff like Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan and so on and so forth, and Death Note. But it all started somewhere, and it started because of him. For me, like I said, because I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, what happened for me, what really introduced me to the whole world of anime was Pokemon, Zoids, A Chaotic Century, which was a great show I watched when I was a kid, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Those were the three killer anime shows that really introduced me to anime when I was a young kid. And to this day, I still love anime. And I wish I could have watched Dragon Ball. I really wish I could. But yeah, I do feel sad that I never got to be a part of the whole Dragon Ball craze, and where people really got like attached to it. But it's just how things were back in the time. So I got to watch a lot of other shows, but this just wasn't one of them. Abhinav says, I remember watching Dragon Ball OG and Z on the Indian Cartoon Network when I was a little kid. Yeah, in America, a lot of these shows were on Cartoon Network, but in the UK, where I am, they were just mostly in the UK. In Toonami and CNX, so I wasn't able to watch them. Yeah, Manola's talking about where he got. I don't know. Manola's a guy or a girl. I'm sorry. He or she was how he got introduced into anime. Yeah, people say GT is not good. I've heard that. Well done, Batman's Gamer. That's a big feat. But yeah, and it's interesting his backstory. His backstory, from what I remember, is that he was very poor and he was trying to create stuff that really, to him, was inspiring, stuff that he would want to see. And I think he was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was roommates with the guy that made One Piece. And they both became like big successes because of their anime creation, which is really good on them. But yeah, it is a tragedy. It is sad whenever these like really, influential and like very talented people all of a sudden just pass away. Look at that smile on his face. The guy seemed to be he really seemed to know what it was like to be raised very poor, because that's what he was at the beginning. And then he became, bigger later. So yeah, that is sad. I do feel sad about that. And it all comes down... I can especially imagine the people that watched Dragon Ball and grew up with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I can especially imagine how they feel. So, Big Bash says it best, shows the value of hard work. Yes, Fireboy, I do watch anime. Ooh, pop culture, you're really taking me back. Did you used to watch some anime on Jetix? It used to be called Fox Kids, that channel, but then they turned it to Jetix, which I thought was not a good name in comparison. We didn't have that channel either. We had Cartoon Network, but even that would sometimes come and go, bizarrely. But no, the best thing we used to enjoy on Jetix was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But then it would be on CITV where we would watch it. You're Tearing Me Apart says the same thing. I did not grow up with Dragon Ball, but a lot of my friends love it. Yeah, that's kind of the situation with me. I did not grow up with it, but I know a lot of people that love it. People also grew up with Naruto as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that people have grown up with that I've not been privy to. But I have watched a lot of the big stuff. But I've just missed out on this one, unfortunately. So who else here watched Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z? Tiskaya says, I grew up with Dragon Ball and Pokemon. Manola says, I grew up with Inuyasha. Bart says, I remember watching OG Dragon Ball. Yen Rai says, Akira Toriyama is an amazing man who not only introduced me to anime, but also the one who inspired other amazing anime. Exactly, like I said, he introduced a lot of people to anime. And yeah, I'm sure he inspired a lot of people with it too. Manola says, I've seen some of it. I've not seen any of it. Oh wow, got us a big super chat from Jake. Let's write that down. That's $70 super chat from Jake. Thank you very, very much, buddy. I really do appreciate that. Everyone, give Jake's super chat a thumbs up. Let's see how much we can give this a thumbs up right here. Yep, you've got the chat going again. Batman's Gamer is like, Jake again. Let's see, yeah. Alright, let's answer Jake's question. But yeah, everyone, give him that thumbs up. Let's see if we can get that thumbs up, like, just as high as we can get it. Jake says, it's a good show. Action, heart, and humor. Dragon Ball also influenced many series, though some people at my school didn't like it, or other anime, let's say that again. Though some people at my school didn't like it, or other anime, for being too Japanese. Always liked the art style of the show. Always went to a Comic-Con. Or anyways, went to a Comic-Con recently. Oh, that's great. Yeah, a lot of anime has that. You got 15 thumb ups, Jake, which is the most so far on these super chats that we've done. That is one thing about a lot of anime. Anime, you just look at a single image and you're like, I want to watch that. And that's what I really wanted with Dragon Ball. I used to see adverts on Cartoon Network where they would say Dragon Ball Z on CNX, or Dragon Ball on CNX, or X-Men Evolution on CNX, and I so wanted those channels to watch them. But they just, we just didn't get it. The only time, they would even say Justice League Unlimited and Justice League and stuff on CNX. And they would also say Teen Titans on Toonami, which I always wanted to see. Thankfully, Teen Titans did come to Cartoon Network eventually for us, so that was always great, so we got to watch it. But, yeah, boy was it sad when we didn't get it for, at the beginning. So I missed out on a lot of shows like that. Although I am trying to watch X-Men Evolution now. Jake, I just want to thank you again very much for that super chat. Like I said, these super chats really help, and so do the Streamlabs chats. And the fact that I've not been doing live streams the past couple of weeks, that has been noticeable. So your donation, especially the amount you donate, really, really noticeable, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. So, let's see. Big Bash says it best. May the creator of Dragon Ball rest in peace. I hope he is happy wherever he is. I hope so too. In fact, I almost feel like watching Dragon Ball right now just because of his passing. It kind of makes me feel like I just want to in tribute of him. You're tearing me apart says, I will say this. I remember seeing the intro of the original Dragon Ball intro, and I found it really funny to have the singer sing in Japanese, and then all of a sudden, screams broken English. Yeah, that is funny with the dubs sometimes. But, yeah. But yeah, Jake, I do agree. You could just tell the show had heart and humor and all that stuff. And I have no doubt that it influenced a lot of other anime shows as well. Like, I have zero doubt it influenced them. It's such a... Yeah, it just had such a great style to it. I was shocked when I found out, when I looked it up just recently, that Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z came out in the 80s, like the mid-80s. That's when it was being created. But when I saw in the early 2000s, adverts of it in the early 2000s, it looked like a modern show. The anime on it was so well done. So, yeah, it was just... You could definitely tell it was a very impactful show. If I got to watch it, I know I would have enjoyed it. Pop culture debates. I have not seen the One Piece live action show. Abhinav says it's streaming on Crunchyroll in the UK. That's great. If I resubscribe to Crunchyroll, I can give it a watch, maybe. I did. Sorry, Fireboy, I only watched an episode or two of the 90s X-Men show because it would, for some reason, on the station that I was watching it on, only one, I think it was only one, maybe two episodes came out, and then that's it. It never came back on again. The only show that I did get to continuously watch there, and the same happened with the Hulk show as well, for some reason, an animated Hulk show. The only show I did get to watch there was Spider-Man, the 90s Spider-Man show, which we would watch all the time. That was great. But yeah, no, I always wanted to watch X-Men Evolution. I never got to watch it. But I have the ability of watching them now. So yeah. Have I seen Kamen Rider? Kamen Rider? Don't think I have. Are you talking about that car that has a mind of its own? Was that something else? What rider was that? Knight Rider, that's what it was. Yeah. Bart says, I've never seen the 90s Marvel cartoon. Charleston says, when I was young, I didn't grow up with Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, or the Disney Channel because my mum assumed I would talk in an American accent. I thought you were going to go somewhere else. I thought you said your mum didn't want you to get influenced or get bad habits from TV or something. I didn't know it's because she didn't want you to speak with an American accent. That's interesting, because you could learn an American accent through many means, not just those channels. Also, a lot of those cartoons were made in Canada, I think, from what I remember. By the way, I'm a Brit. I don't think I picked up any accent stuff from American shows. It's a shame, though, you didn't get at least one of those channels, like Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network spoke to all ages. Nickelodeon was more for younger kids, and the same with the Disney Channel. That's why I'm glad I had Cartoon Network. But Nickelodeon felt like it spoke more to the older... Sorry, not Nickelodeon. Toonami felt like it always spoke to the older kids, like 13 and up. Error Riders, says Bot. What's with these rider shows? I haven't watched Chainsaw Man, but I've heard of it. It's a guy that has a face like a chainsaw. Typical anime craziness, but they somehow managed to make it work. Big Bash says, I learned English watching TV, funny enough. Plenty of people have. Like, I've heard a lot of actors that are bigger now have on talk shows said that they learned English through watching Friends. So yeah, through watching TV, a lot of people tend to learn. Although I used to watch quite a bit of Bollywood growing up, I never learned that language. I did a little, but like little words and things, but it just, I don't even know where it dropped off and it just went. Weird. Review says, I introduced my dad to the live-action One Piece show, and now every day he's asking me when is season 2 coming out. Was he a fan of the anime? But he just refused to watch the live-action show until you got him to. I like how we got a lot of anime fans here. How often do we talk about anime usually? But because of Akira, we're talking about it quite a lot now in this stream. The G Gamer has asked a very good question. It's apparently a very contentious question, so I'm going to tread carefully on this one. Damn, why is this pen so bad? Anyway, Manola says, has done a $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that. And it's your 5th super on a live stream. Thank you very much. Says, have you heard of the anime JJK? Let me look it up. It rings a bell. Is it Jujutsu Kaisen? Is that what it is? I think I'm looking at some images. I think I have seen images of this, but no, I've never seen it. Is it good? It seems like a more recent anime, which is interesting. One Punch Man. Yes, I have watched One Punch Man. And yes, I've seen all episodes of Death Note. Death Note to me is the most binge-worthy show ever made. When you're finished with one episode, you just have to go and watch the other. It's really amazing. Is it dark? It did look dark with those images I was looking at. Bart says JJK is dark as F. Eric, do you see a news that Bucky will not be in Captain America Brave New World? And I'm so angry that he didn't show up. Man. Marvel is going downhill now. It didn't make sense. Yeah, that Bucky's not going to be in that. But we'll see what they do. Have you seen My Hero Academia? I actually haven't. Death Note is not good. It's amazing. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Light Yagami is a hypocrite. Yeah, he is. He's insane as well. For being so smart, he's so insane. Becomes a monster, like starts taking innocent people out later. Death Note is good, but you'll like Monster even more if you like thriller shows. I doubt it, but the fact that you said that makes me interested. Has piqued my interest. Abhinav says, have you watched or heard of The F Word, Hell's Kitchen, and Kitchen Nightmares? Yeah, I watched it ever since I was a kid. Like, little kid, we used to watch that. Okay, I'll look at Monster. Let's see. Tema, a brilliant neurosurgeon with a promising future, risks his career to save the life of a critically wounded young boy. The boy, now a charismatic young man, reappears 9 years later in the midst of a string of unusual serial murders. That sounds interesting, but it's 75 episodes. That's interesting, that. You're Tearing Me Apart says something which is very interesting. Hang on, I did not answer the question about subtitles. I'm sorry. Let's answer that question. Um, with anime, I can watch it with subtitles, but I prefer the dubbed. I know that's not English dubs are not popular to people, but the reason why is because I grew up with that style. When I watched Pokemon, and Zoid's Chaotic Century, and Yu-Gi-Oh, and other animes, it was always the dubbed language I watched it in. So I've grown up with that style, and I'm used to it. So I always watch it with the English dub. I always look for that. In fact, I've even been watching Demon Slayer with an English dub, and it's got both an English dub and subtitles, and I seeked out the English dub. I even waited for the English dub, because I think it takes longer for the English dub to come out than it does the Japanese with subtitles. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait. Because you get different characters, a different character. You feel like you get a different connection with the characters from the English dub, because their voices are different, and the way they say their dialogue and stuff is also very different. Big Bash, I find that hard to believe. Naruto is 720 episodes, and I watched it all in 2 months. How is that possible? Do you have a life? Do you work? Do you have any, like, do you, I don't know if you're married or have kids, but it's like, do you have a life? How can you watch 720 episodes in 2 months? I struggle with episodes that are like 10 episodes to watch in a month sometimes. So you watching 720 in 2 months? Guys, does that sound insane to you, or does that sound actually reasonable? 720 episodes in 2 months. Bart says I look beat up. I do kind of feel that way. Were you not aware? In case you were not aware, I had a cold recently. I had the flu, COVID, and eczema all at once. So yeah, I'm still recovering from it. It's why I cancelled the last 2 live streams, but I thought I was going to cancel this one too. But I thought, let's give it a try. So if I look beat up, that's the reason why. I'm unwell. I'm still not 100%. One Piece has over 1,000 episodes. Is it? I knew it had hundreds, but is it 1,000 at this point? Review says, that's nothing. I've watched it in 2 weeks. Guys, give me your secrets, because this way I could get through watching a lot of shows. Man, that is insane. Arathorn says exactly what I was thinking. That's impossible. Literally take what Luke Skywalker said when he goes, no, that's not true. That's impossible. That's how I feel when I heard that. Tiskaya says, how the fuck do you watch 720 episodes in 2 months? I'm sure Reviews is kidding when he goes, I watched it in 2 weeks. I don't even think you can watch all those episodes in 2 weeks non-stop without you running short on time. So Ethan's Drawing says, hi Eric, sorry I'm late, how are you feeling? I'm feeling better. I've still not recovered. In fact, I was thinking of cancelling this live stream, but I thought let's give it a go. But yeah, I watched several episodes in each day, says Big Bash. That doesn't sound like several episodes each day. That sounds more like watching as much episodes as you can in 24 hours. That's what that sounds like. But I did not watch Digimon, but I was aware of it when I was a kid. That was always advertised. That also was on Jetix as well. Yeah, it is a lot of illnesses, but it wasn't pretty. I couldn't even work. Couldn't even do any videos. I lost my voice. I couldn't even do any voiceovers. I couldn't look at a lit screen because my eyes would water and start hurting. I just felt like sleeping all day. And I didn't even want to eat either. Bart says over 1,000 episodes. Yeah. The G Gamer says, do you guys put it in the background in the house to watch over the 2 months? Yeah, that probably sounds like more plausible to me. Bart says Digimon is much darker than Pokemon. Even the Japanese dub make it way dark. Interesting. Yeah, I don't watch Pokemon anymore, but it was something I was into when I was a kid. I will say though, when I watched Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, it's something I'm still into now. I can still watch Yu-Gi-Oh now as an adult. And my dad used to watch it with me too, back in the day, and even he can still watch it now as well. Yu-Gi-Oh was a very good show. Had problems, of course, but it was still a very good show. Reviews says, I am such a nerd, dude. I watch 50 One Piece episodes a day. Wow. I'm trying to think, what was the most shows I watched in a day? The most episodes of a show that I've watched in a day. The Penguin Show. And I'm looking really forward to the Penguin Show. When you say which upcoming comic book film or series am I most excited for, that's what I'm most excited for. Wow. Did they censor it in the UK version? But I don't think they would let them point a gun at a kid in the American version or whatever, because they censored a lot of anime in America back in the old days. Like Yu-Gi-Oh was one of them. They wouldn't allow guns in that show. Oh, Big Bash says I watched all episodes and was very invested in it. I remember several years ago my friend was talking to me about Naruto. So yeah, there's even more episodes out now. George Phillips, I'd consider doing a versus video between Ghostbusters Afterlife and Frozen Empire. It's something I've considered, but again, I'm still not well, so it depends how, when I'll be able to get to see it and if I can do it in time. And I'll try to make it short as well. I don't want it to be a long one, because I don't think there'll be much to say about it. Mine was probably Castlevania. I saw the first 2 seasons in one night. Oh, the first 2 seasons. Interesting. Most episodes I've watched of something. I'm trying to think about that. Because I know we've all done it. The most recent one I can think of was during the pandemic. I think I watched all 10 seasons of Smallville, and I was just going through them like nobody's business. So I rewatched those. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes, point your finger and run, Kai. But that's exactly what it was like in Yu-Gi-Oh! People would make fun of it. It's like they're pointing their fingers at them when really they were holding guns. We just didn't know it. Oh, really? Bart says, so yeah, I forgot to mention, Digimon is based on a Tamagotchi toy. I didn't know about that. That's interesting. I have seen the trailer for Beetlejuice, and I'll upload my reaction on Patreon. I've been sick for the last couple of weeks of Vasudev, so I didn't get to watch Dune Part 2, unfortunately. Patrick Stiles says, what do you think of the announced Teen Titans movie set in the DCU? I have no thoughts on it. We need to see more of the universe built out before we get to the sidekicks, so I need to see more. I haven't watched Bleach, but I'm aware of it. I think Bleach even had a fighting game. Pop culture debates. It had a fighting game as well. Wow. Jake is at it again. With his donation, with his super generous donations. Thank you very, very much, Jake. Yes, we are. Sorry, Manola. Yeah, we are. We were talking about anime from Akira, and we just stuck through it, and because of he inspired anime, I thought I would keep his image here. Jake says, and everyone give Jake's super chat a thumbs up. I cosplayed as Gex, video game series from the 90s, set to return this year. Only 3 people got who I was supposed to be. Anyways, I feel like the Cars movies have some distrusting implications. World War II happened. World War II happened in the Cars universe. Think about it. That is quite dark. Jake, that is kind of messed up. I know we're talking about anime, but that's not something I thought about. That adds a whole other dark layer to it. Man, Jake, that is actually, I think, one of the darkest things I've thought of in this stream. Pop culture debates, Jake is not spamming super chats. We've had these conversations with him. He says he's got a well-paying job, so he says that he can do this. And don't worry, we've talked to Jake about it and said that he's so overly generous. But at this point, it's part of the course now. We know. But Jake, that doesn't mean that my appreciation is part of the course. I still appreciate it as if this was your first big donation. So thank you very, very much. And by the way, I hope you saw the trailer reaction I did for you, the Boy Kills World trailer reaction on my Patreon, which I sent to you specifically because of the big donations you did. I hope you got to see that, and I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't ask you about it again after that. But yeah, your first super chat got 17 thumb ups, and so far you got 13 thumb ups on your second super chat. Arathorn Jake really is. He is a channel legend. One of the most generous viewers I've ever seen on anyone's channel. Thank you, Jake, very, very much. These super chats help a great deal. Like, seriously, they do. So thank you very, very much. Saeed says, have you seen the leaks for Deadpool 3? Yes, but I don't want to say any out loud in case people have not seen it, because they do sound quite interesting. Yeah, a ton of variants. One in particular who's very interesting. You're Tearing Me Apart says, I don't know if this... Let me quickly see. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I don't think Bucky is interesting when he's not around Captain America. What do you think, Eric? I do agree. When he's not around Steve Rogers, he's not as interesting. Eric, I saw the link to reaction of the Inside Out True trailer, and I'm surprised it said a sequel we have been waiting for. That's because Inside Out... let me quickly... First of all, movie fan, let me quickly write down your generous super chat on my page here. $5 super chat from Movie Fan 2002. Thank you very, very much. The reason I say it's what we've been waiting for is because it was one that we've been waiting for. A lot of people were like, let's see what you could do again, you know, as the character ages. What are the emotions going to be like in her head then? So I feel like there was a lot that you could do with that. So yeah, I think that was a sequel that a lot of people have been waiting for. It's just taken them so long to do it. Yes, Anakin Solo, you did miss the Acolyte discussion, but don't worry, you can rewind it and go back and listen to it later. But I basically discuss what my thoughts on it were before and why the show is now being made when Disney did not want to finance it, was what all the leaks and rumors were talking about before. Bart said something. He says, if Inside Out was real, I imagine Riley's body came inside out of her body. It just kind of made me think. I don't know why. When you said body, it made me think. Imagine if in a darker world, you know, when she became a teenager and she was experiencing, as Sheldon would put it, coitus with someone. Imagine what the emotions would be like in her head then. I wonder what dark places they could go to with that. That would be like some adult places in terms of like subject matter. Inside Out 2 actually looked like a necessary sequel, so hopefully they don't mess it up. Hopefully, but it's Disney, so you never know at this point. Their name does not scream quality. Matthew says, Eric, have you heard the rumors for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4? I've heard of it, but until they finally come out and say it and stop playing around, I'm not going to believe any of it. We've got another $5 super chat from Movie Fan 2002. Thank you very much, buddy. Have you started watching Bad Batch Season 3? No. I wanted to, but like I said, I got sick. And when you have like COVID and all that kind of stuff, you kind of wish you could just stay in bed, just be sick and just watch movies, shows, and play video games all day. But unfortunately, that's not what you feel like. Your body just feels like it's in this state of decline. And you feel like all you want to do is lie down and that's it. So I was just sleeping most of the time. I couldn't even look at my phone. It hurt my eyes. So probably that's why I was not really responding to many of you. Because I get a lot of you talk to me over at Patreon as well. And I wasn't really responding to any people on Patreon because, like I said, I couldn't look at a screen without my eyes watering and hurting. So, yeah. But no, I haven't seen it yet. I really do want to. I do hear some people saying that there's a lot of filler in it, which I'd be surprised by with the final season if there's a lot of filler. Eric, I saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and it was okay. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I've not heard good things about that movie, so it's interesting. Jake says, imagine if once they pressed the puberty button at the end of the first movie, and the end card appeared on screen, then became Harry. I think you said Harry, but I think you mean Harry. Yeah, it just made me think that is like a very adult conversation to have. I wonder if Disney would ever do something like that. Imagine the emotions that would pop into her head then. Imagine if there was a horny emotion in there somewhere. Oh, I feel like I've taken Inside Out. I've opened up like a whole other section about it right now. Pop Culture Debate says, what do you like, woke manga or movies? Is there woke manga? Because I feel like manga is probably the least woke. You know, that's why a lot of people jumped to anime, because it wasn't being woke. So they were just jumping over to anime. So yeah, I don't know if woke manga is a thing. Pop Culture Debates. Yeah, Bart, bravery would be one. Sex would be another one, yeah. Selena says, hey Eric, when I saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, there were green lines on the right side of the screen, which I was the only one who noticed. But they went away near the final act. That's interesting, that is. Rowan says, why did Warner Brothers choose Velma Season 2 over Spider-Verse-styled animated Batman Beyond movie and Kaito vs. Acme movie? I don't know, but I have heard that it's been cancelled, that show. Let's move over here right now and just do the Q&A here. Unless you guys want me to switch back to that other image of Akira Toriyama. Because that was a fun image to look at. Ooh, look at that. I got a $10 donation from Streamlabs. Let me quickly write that down. $10 donation. Let's look and see what the person asked. Who donated that much? Let's see. Like I say, Streamlabs donations are really appreciated as well, because all the donation comes to me and none of it goes to YouTube. Okay, let's see. That is a $7.94. Super chat, so let's write that down. Okay, so this is from Iron Warrior. Oh, hey, it's great to see you, buddy. It says, hey Eric, I'm glad you're feeling better. 1, have you been watching The Bad Batch Season 3 and are you enjoying it? I've already answered that. I've not watched it yet because I've been too sick, so I wanted to watch it where I could enjoy it. But when you're sick and you just have these headaches, you're not going to enjoy anything. 2, I heard the leaks that The Acolyte was coming in June and I'm glad they were true. I'm kind of interested considering it's something different. Yeah, I'm not. I've already talked about this. It's because it's coming from Kathleen Kennedy and Harvey Weinstein's assistant. What was her name again? Just lost it. Leslie Headland. And I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. They are not Star Wars fans. They have their own agendas and they're just going to try to use Star Wars as a vehicle for that. Kind of like how Sweet Baby Games is doing that with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Spider-Man 2 and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. I don't trust them with it. And especially when you take into account that the show was actually made in a very ill way. It wasn't done in a way that was legitimate. They kind of forced it in there. They did. So yeah, I don't trust them. They did not do it in a good way to get the show made. They tried to force it. And yeah, that's why the show's being made to begin with. Disney didn't want to make it. Got a $2 super chat from Manolas, who says, Eric, did you see my question? What question? Let me look. This is why I always say people should do questions on super chats, because it does get hard to keep track of all these. And remember, I'm unwell, so seeing these smaller chats is harder to see than the super chats. Manola says, okay, I think I found it. Manola says, have you heard of the show No Doubt in Us? I've heard about it. I don't think I remember anything about it, though. 2, have you heard of the Will X Mike ship in Stranger Things? I've not heard about it, but it felt like that's what they were setting up in Stranger Things Season 4. I hope to God they don't do that. But then again, I don't care about Stranger Things Season 5 because I hated Stranger Things Season 4. But it seems to me like the romantic switcheroo. I've talked about that. They did that with Steve and that girl he liked, Robin, in Season 3. They built them up so well, and I felt like at the last minute they did a romantic switcheroo where they changed their minds and said, oh no, she's a lesbian, she likes someone else. And then you look into it and it turns out, yeah, it was a last minute decision they made. The first time I experienced this kind of thing in stories was in Harry Potter, when I was reading the books. Harry and Hermione were so clearly going to be the ones that were going to be a couple. But then somewhere in the books, it felt like there was a romantic switcheroo going on, where it felt like they were trying to swap it, and they were trying to make Harry like Cho Chang, and then Harry like Ginny, and then Ron like Lavender, but then Hermione like Ron, and then there's this whole switcheroo thing where you felt like they just changed their minds mid-story. And I hated that in Harry Potter, and I hated that in Stranger Things Season 3 when they did it there as well. And if they try to do that again with Mike and Will, it's just them pandering is all it is. It should be Mike and 11, shouldn't it? But if they force that, that would be so stupid. Can you imagine who they would try to force that with? What happens if they tried to force that with 11 and... what was that depressed girl's name? Max. Imagine if they try to force a relationship between those two. Because then they'll just be forcing stuff for the sake of forcing stuff. Abhinav says... so I hope I answered your question, Manola. And thank you for the $2 super chat. Abhinav says, did you know that Toonami is based on an action/anime programming block that aired on Cartoon Network in the US from the late 90s till mid-2008? Then it got revived by Adult Swim in 2012 to present. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Unfortunately, streaming services and a lot of other stuff took off at that point. So it's like, okay, I don't need Toonami at this point. I can find everything I want elsewhere. So, yeah. Yeah, I would have liked it better if I was younger, but not now, to be honest with you. Let's see. Eric says, crap, I'm late. What did I miss? Sorry, buddy, but you missed everything. We're doing the Q&A now. It's okay, you could rewatch the stream where we talk about all the subjects, and hopefully you can catch up on the next live stream. But I was almost not going to do this stream because I was really unwell, and then I ended up doing it. And thanks again to all of you for joining the stream, and for those I've also done super chats and Streamlabs chats. I really appreciate it. Really, I do. When I was ill, I missed speaking to you guys, and I'm so glad that I'm now able to do it. I'm still ill, but I wanted to chat to you guys so bad, so I was like, let's try. And I think I've held up quite well, considering my coughs have not been coming up as strong either. Rohan says, what are your thoughts on the 8th season of Smallville? I thought it was okay. A lot of good stuff in there, but I really do not like what they did with the first episode when they had to try to justify why Lex Luthor was no longer in there because the actor left. The original showrunners, Al Goff and Miles Miller, they both left from season 7. So they were no longer showrunning it, and you could tell stuff had changed. And I really think taking Lex Luthor out of the show really hurt it. So yeah, season 8 I think was probably the worst season of the whole entire show, if I'm being honest with you. The G Gamer says, "How are you planning to see Megamind 2? It was so awful that it could be a contender for your worst movie this year." I don't intend to see it. I was thinking, if I found out it was coming sooner, I probably would have done a versus video on it, but they really just dropped it on us at the last second, didn't they? But thing is, I've already talked about it, done a trailer reaction on my Patreon. I talked about it at length, and I described that this is basically just... that it's basically just, meant to be like, the movie is meant to be like the debut to a TV show. That's what it's supposed to be. It's like what Disney did with a lot of their shows, like with Tarzan and Lilo and Stitch, and plenty of others like Aladdin. They wanted to make a TV show, so they released a movie that was really just one big pilot, and that's what they did. And I feel like that's what they did as well with Megamind 2. So that's why I wasn't really as harsh on it like a lot of other people, because I knew what it was, but I understand that a lot of people would want a proper sequel and not that cheap type of sequel. Meanwhile, they give sequels to movies that people don't really want, but they don't give sequels to the movie that people do. That's where studios are kind of out of touch. Rowan says, what is the least and most favourite season of Smallville? Probably my most favourite maybe was season 7, I think. Because Lex Luthor was getting full-on evil in that. It was amazing. And my least favourite is season 8. But Smallville, when Smallville was really good, it was really good. But it would have those filler kind of episodes. But you liked the character so much, you didn't really mind it. So, yeah. Nanomator says, when it comes to modern movies or games, Batman was at his best in the Dark Knight trilogy, which was his childhood, the Batman 2022, and Arkham games, excluding Suicide Squad, which was also his childhood. Yeah, those were my childhood too, except for the Batman 2022. I'm older now, so that's not really my childhood. I haven't seen Ultraman Bart, but I think I've heard of it. Rohan, I've already answered your question on what's the least and most favourite season of Smallville. My score for Toy Story 4, I've only seen it once in the cinema, and that was it. Probably a 7. Which is the lowest score I've given any Toy Story movie. Saeed says, I think Smallville is close to a perfect superhero show. I do love Smallville. I really do. Score for Batman Returns. I don't know. I don't know. I need to see it again to know for sure. Maybe an 8. I do love Batman Returns. Matthew says, would you ever do a versus video between the Batman season 1 and... You mean Batman the animated series season 1 and 2? Nah, that's not really a versus video I'm interested in. Like, for example, you want to make a versus video more interesting, so you'd probably do Batman the animated series versus the Batman, the 2005 animated show. Something like that. Smallville came out in 2001, I think, and it ended in 2011 or 2010. Angelo says, do you like reality shows? Yeah. Not all of them, of course. There's a lot which I think a lot of people like, which I'm like, yeah, I'm not into it. But stuff like the Gordon Ramsay shows are amazing. Those I've seen so many of those. Hell's Kitchen as well. Kitchen Nightmares, Hotel Hell. Was it Motel Hell or Hotel Hell? Or did he do both? Those are also really good. He's really good when it comes to the shows. I've always watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay shows. And there are other shows as well. Oh, you mean the Telltale series, Matthew? Well, that is more interesting, but no, I think the time has kind of come and gone for that kind of thing, I think. Rowan says, what do you think of the first season of Smallville? I loved the first season. It was really good. It was a very good start. I like how they introduced these characters, especially Lex Luthor, how he's being good and friendly with Clark. It was really good. Yeah, in case you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just peeling some eczema off of my finger. Like I said, I'm still not feeling well, so... Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to do 10 more minutes, then I'm gonna leave, because I'm starting to feel... I just feel like lying down right now, to be perfectly honest with you. So, any questions you want to ask me? Any super chats, so you can get it right at the questions right at the top, answered instantly. And also support the channel, of course. That best do them within the next 10 minutes, because I'm going to get some sleep after that. I'm really not feeling... I feel like the weight on my head is starting to catch up on me. My score for Batman Forever is probably a high 6. That's where it started to get silly, but I do enjoy Batman Forever. Not as a genuinely good movie, but as what it was trying to be, which was a fun, goofy type of movie, but there was some serious stuff in there which I did like. I do wish they would have released the Schumacher cut. Kevin Smith talked about it. It's interesting. I would have liked to see and compare. I haven't seen X-Men 97. I was thinking about doing it just so I can review the first 2 episodes, just as a newcomer to that X-Men show, like, talk to you guys about it. But like I said, my cold really caught up, so we'll see what happens. Big Bash says, I'm going to the gym, Eric. Yeah, I did the stream early, so I'm sorry you weren't able to see the stream during your gym session. But maybe next week you can, if I feel better. But thanks for joining the stream, Big Bash. I appreciate it. You're tearing me apart says, what is your overall opinion about Jared Leto? Not as the Joker. We all pretty much know what to say about that. I think he is, if I could describe Jared Leto in a word, it's overrated. People said he's a great actor when he got the role of Joker, that he won an Oscar. But when you see him in movies that I've seen him in since, at the time I didn't know any better, I didn't see him in movies, I took people's word for it. But now I've seen him in movies since. And he's just... I just don't see what people see in him. I saw him in Blade Runner 2049. He was good in that, but he wasn't in it much. The same with Brie Larson. They say she's really good in a movie. I'm like, I've not seen that movie, but I've seen her in plenty of other movies now. I just don't see what people see in them. So I think it's kind of, to be perfectly honest, they're kind of overrated. Maybe they were good in that one project that people liked them in, but they're not showing that level of talent in these other shows that they're in. So yeah, I think that they're overrated is the word. Now that I've seen them in stuff, I just don't see what people saw in them, why people were excited about them. So yeah, that's what my thoughts are. Yeah, Matthew says, I honestly thought I saw Eric when I went to the gym yesterday. Interesting. Big Bash says, you're welcome. You're my favourite YouTuber. Well, that's great to hear. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Big Bash. Hope you enjoy your gym session. Are you fasting as well, I think? Did you mention or did someone else mention that? Holy moly. Jake. I do not know what to say, buddy. I really don't. Ooh, man. Look at that number. You are so generous with your donations, Jake. Let me write that down. You really have helped me, Jake, this month with the amount of donations you've done. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed that trailer. Oh, you're talking about that here. That's great. Let's see. But thank you very much. You've really helped me financially this month, so I appreciate it, both at the beginning of the month and now. So thank you very much. Jake says, first Megamind wins. Totally. No contest is what he says. First Megamind wins. No contest. Anyways, I haven't seen your Boy Kills World trailer reaction. Don't have a Patreon account. I did send you a link. I sent you a link in the comments of your video. Remember, I think did you respond to me? You said, sorry, can you send a link? So I sent it a while back, one of your earlier videos. I personally am looking forward to the film, though I want to see Argyle, and it flopped. Same with Lisa Frankenstein. Am I bad luck? Lol. No, it's just some movies, they're not advertised well. Because, for example, that Lisa Frankenstein, I didn't even hear about it until I think you mentioned it. And as for Argyle, I heard about it, but the concept was kind of stupid to me about the girl. I'm sure it was probably done better in execution, definitely. I have no doubt, but on execution, but from the trailer I saw where Bryce Dallas Howard was an author who wrote something that turns out to be true, I mean, why would someone come after you, an organization, because you wrote something in fiction that is true? Because there's a lot of stuff in Hollywood and movies and stories that are true, but they don't want to come after the person, because if they do, that just means that they're adding weight and validity to it. And it'll make people think, oh wait, is that true? I didn't even think it was true. I thought it was just a fictional book, but now it turns out it's true. You know, it's like they're bringing attention to themselves. I thought that was kind of a stupid concept. Not well thought out. And it turns out that the reason that script came about is because Hollywood have got this new strategy they were trying. They didn't want to pay for old, well-known books and source material. So they decided to go to books that were not published yet and decided to adapt those. That's what Argyle is based on. And look at what the result is. It was ridiculous money-saving strategy from them, I think, if I remember it correctly. And, yes, not worked out well for them. So, yeah, I think that's not good what they've done. But, yeah, I'll see Argyle eventually, maybe. But it's not something that's on the top of my list. And it was definitely a bad move on them to advertise Henry Cavill and put him right front and center in the poster. And then you find out he's only in the movie for like 5, maybe 10 minutes tops. I feel like the movie almost deserves to flop for that kind of misleading and that kind of false advertising. Especially because Henry Cavill is what was trending the most about that movie when the first trailer released was his haircut. And then he's not in the movie much. Not good. But yeah. Oh. Sorry guys, my eczema's just bothering me. But yeah, it's not you, it's just the movies. Advertise the movie well, it'll do good. Look at Dune. Dune is doing well in theaters. Ghostbusters, I think I heard, has got a pretty good opening weekend. So you just got to know how to advertise your movies. And there are some other movies that are doing quite well too. So this movie, I just don't think those movies had very good advertising campaigns. And never underestimate an advertising campaign. It's very important. Jake, again, thank you so much for these huge donation sums. I really appreciate it so much. And I hope I'm not being cheeky in saying that if one day you can do it on Streamlabs, it would be even better. Because like I said, YouTube take cuts from donations on Super Chats. And if you do it there, they will take no cut. It would go straight to my PayPal. But regardless, I appreciate it either way. Jake says, also, the movie actually has a twist involving her past. It makes more sense. Okay, that's interesting. It was one of your early ones, Jake. I sent the link on one of your early ones because I didn't want a lot of people to catch it because that's a Patreon exclusive video and I couldn't send you a message directly through YouTube, so I posted it that way. Take a look at one of your early videos. You should find it there. Fireboy says, I have to go, Eric. Hope you get better soon. Oh, thanks very much. I'm going to leave in about 2 minutes, so get your questions in, everyone. The G-Gamer, last question before I head out to watch Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Oh, okay, what is an actor you can't stand due to any reason? An actor I can't stand? I can't stand Brie Larson. I didn't like what she was doing in her interviews, but also in acting, she's very stiff, she comes across. Whenever she tries to act intense, she always looks like she's got like a constipated face. There's a fine line between an actor doing a constipated face and doing an intense face, and she can't ride that line. She just does the constipation face. Look at her in the trailer for the recent Fast and Furious movie when she was trying to act intense, and she doesn't have range. She always comes across as a very bitter person to me, kind of like people that you can find in real life, so I don't like her. I also don't like that, what was his name from Stranger Things? Will Byers. What was his name? I can't even remember it anymore. Him, can't stand him anymore after what he did. Zionism is sexy. What a disgusting thing to write, especially considering what Zionism is, kind of like a crazy cult. There's nothing wrong with Jews. They try to say, oh, yeah, anti-Semitic. It's like, no, Jews are fine. It's the Zionist cult where they seem to think that we are above the law on everything. What we do is fine, but hey, you doing it over there, that's wrong. And they just seem to be, it's almost like Hydra when they do the super soldier programming. Whenever it comes to Zionists, whenever you talk about certain topics, they just lose all humanity. And yeah, what he did when he was saying that was, when he tried to take all that and say that's sexy, I thought that was an insult. I can't even remember his name anymore, which is funny. So yeah, him I hate the most, for other reasons that I mentioned. But Brie Larson, I don't like her as an actor, and I think she does come across as a very bitter person. Abhinav says, have you ever walked out of the theatre during the middle of a bad movie? Never for a bad movie, although when I did a Versus video for the Flatliners, I said I almost considered walking out of that movie. I think it was a 2016 movie, I think. But I never walk out of a movie. The only time I've walked out of a movie is if there's something wrong, either with a projection or with a audience member who's being very noisy or whatever it may be. That's the only time I've ever left a movie, is for reasons like that. Okay, guys, I think we've gotten past, the limit. So let me just quickly check if there's any Streamlabs Super Chat. If there is, I'll answer it. But if not, I'm gonna, unless Super Chat stop pouring in, which is my only Achilles heel, because I always say I'll answer those immediately, I'm gonna have to start ending this stream. Spirit Hero, I'm so sorry you just woke up, but it is late. The stream is about to end right now, and I'm still not feeling well. Yeah, Big Bash, it does seem to be so. It does seem so, and anyone who calls him out on it now as well, it seems. So yeah, I'm going to Big Bash. I'm surprised you're here. I thought you were going to go for your gym session. I'm surprised you're still here. Still means a lot though. So thank you very much. Rohan says, before you leave, what do you think of Smallville's version of Doomsday? That was actually cool. I actually like that version's design better than Zack Snyder's, and they did it on such a low budget. I just wish the battle was much longer, I wish. Haven't seen Tall Grass, sorry. Yeah, Batman says I'm back, and oh, yeah, oh, indeed. Yeah, I'm gonna head out now. G-Gamer's heading out too. Alright, I'm gonna head out. Bye, Eric. Have a good day, and don't let the Kathleen Kennedy bite. And don't let the Kathleen Kennedy bite. That's funny. You guys are so nice. An animator says, "I hope you rest well enough. You rest well enough, Eric. You deserve one after your hard work." You just got... That was such a nice comment. Why'd you get rid of it, an animator? That was so nice. I was reading it. Batman said, "I just got back from karate." Cool. Go and see Dune 2 tonight, Jake. That's great. I hope you enjoy it. Have you seen it already, or have you not? Oh, Big Bash just arrived at the gym. Okay, cool. I'm sorry to end the stream right when you just arrived, because normally you're at the gym doing your thing as I'm doing my stream usually. I'm sorry this time. Yeah, you're tearing me apart. Even Gal Gadot with her politics is worthless, but even without, she's worthless. She's lost her acting ability. There you go, Nanometer said, "I hope you rest well, Eric. You deserve one after all your hard work and effort into your videos. May the Force be with you." Oh, may the Force be with you too. Thank you very much, everyone. You've all been very kind and very nice and very generous to me, especially with your super chats. Jake in particular, thank you so much as always. It really does help. And because I've not been working on my videos and uploading my videos and my Patreon videos lately, I did need the help with the super chats, and I did not expect this level of support and help. So thank you very much, guys, as always. And like I've always said, super chats is something you do during live streams, but Streamlabs can be done at any time, so you don't have to do it just during the live streams. Like, you feel like you have to be confined into that. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for your generosity. I think I am losing my voice again now. I'm gonna go rest now. Thank you very much, everyone. It was an absolute joy talking to all of you. It really is the highlight of my week. And yeah, once I get better, I will start working on the videos again, but right now I really can't. I'm not in the state where I can. I don't know my top 5 best movies of 2008, buddy, but you know my top 1 is The Dark Knight. I'm sure Iron Man is on that list somewhere as well. Thanks very much, everyone. It was an absolute pleasure. And this is, as Arathorn999 says, this is Captain Eric signing out. Take care.